Alright guys, Tottenham and Southampton have just played out a quite splendid game of football. In this, you just couldn't take your eyes off it, to be honest. In the end, finished 3-3. And I didn't see Southampton coming back for it. And I'll be honest, even as much as Southampton are the favourites for relegation this season, I just feel as though there is something in them where they can pull themselves out of it. Like, you look at a team like maybe Bournemouth, and with Bournemouth, it just feels as though they've got it in them as well. They can pull out these results against Liverpool and nearly against Arsenal as well. Southampton have done the double over Chelsea this season. I know Chelsea aren't a great side this year, but they can get a draw away at Old Trafford, a draw at home to Tottenham. It is so hard to predict this relegation battle. Usually in the Premier League, when it comes to relegation zone, there is like a team like last year, it was Norwich, who you just look at and you think, yeah, they stand no chance of staying up. But this year, there's absolutely nobody. It's so tight at the bottom and it's so hard to predict. But yeah, in this game, I mean, it struggled to get going first half. First half was actually a terrible watch, but like there was just so many injuries, 2 injuries that were forcing substitutions for each team. And for Southampton, it was in a key area as well, in that both centre-backs had to go off injured. Bella-Kotchap seems to dislocate his shoulder, and then his replacement, Mohamed Salisu, him and Jan Bednarek collided on a corner, and that forced Bednarek off with broken ribs, and he's currently in hospital, so I hope he recovers soon. But Maitland-Niles had to replace him, and Maitland-Niles, considering that he was sort of playing like a half centre-back role at times, he did a superb job. And the fact that Southampton went through this game only really playing with like one centre-back, it was amazing. The tactical sort of tactical improvisation from Ruben Selles was superb, with like the problem they faced of only having one fit centre back. And yeah, I can only applaud Southampton today because they went behind just before half time through Pedro Porro. Spurs had their own injury problems, as I've mentioned, Richarlison going off after what looked like an injury he had before the game, as well as Ben Davies coming off, and they were replaced by Perisic and Kulusevski. And yeah, Perisic and Kulusevski came on and had vital roles for Tottenham. But the opening goal, I think you look at Romain Perraud, really. I think Perraud had an overall decent game, and he's not had a bad season, to be fair, for Southampton at left back. But for this goal, he sort of tucked inside when he didn't really need to. He's almost done his job too well, if that makes sense. He's trying to, like, often you see fullbacks criticised for not getting back, but this time he got back, but he wasn't really aware of the position of Pedro Porro, and that's the advantage you can get sometimes of having attacking wing backs for Tottenham, because you've got 3 forward players who are sort of occupying the defence, and that means that whichever the side of the pitch the ball's come from, that means there's always going to be a free man. Whether he can get the space or get into a dangerous position is the question, and on this occasion he was able to, and it was a superb finish as well, absolutely smashing it into the roof of the net. And that was about it really for first half. First half was a bit of a dull watch because of all the injuries slowing the play down. It was an even first half. Southampton had their own chances, but there wasn't any saves to make for Gavin Bazunu and Fraser Forster in both goals. So yeah, second half, it went 0 to 100 like very quickly. The equaliser was almost instant from Shea Adams in the first minute of the game. He, needless to say, went off with a knock as well. But it was a really well worked goal. Romeo Lavia did really well to pick out Theo Walcott, and really good ball to play in Shea Adams. And Adams got just enough on it to get it just inside the post. In fact, it came off the inside of the post. any more on it, he'd probably get saved by Forster. So it was pretty much the perfect finish, really, from Adams. And he is a player who often gets criticised for his finishing, actually, but occasionally he can perform a finish for a goal where it's like he gets it absolutely perfect, and anything else and he wouldn't have scored. So, you know, he's just one of them, really. Adams, he's a bit of a strange forward, a bit of an enigma. But Tottenham then sort of started to get a bit of control, started going forwards a lot more. It was an even game, but for the next 20 minutes after Southampton had a good 5-minute spell of like trying to get that goal that put them ahead in the game, Tottenham started to get forward, and the 2 goals that put them ahead, the first one coming from Harry Kane from a Kulusevski cross, brilliant header, brilliant cross as well, but I think Southampton almost got themselves too deep for that goal. But I think you can't look at what Southampton were doing defensively too much today because of the amount of problems they had with the centre-backs. So, you know, it's just one of them. The fact that they even managed to get anything out of this game, given that they were already the underdogs to win this game or get anything out of it, the most likely result today was a Tottenham win. But the fact that they had the problems they had and still managed to get a draw out of it, they deserve huge credit for that, I think. But yeah, the goals came from Harry Kane and Ivan Perisic's first goal for Tottenham after, 7 or 8 months. I mean, he's not a goal scorer given the position. He's mostly played for Tottenham in that left wing back role, but it was a tidy finish, left-footed half volley that he sort of whacked into the ground, and yeah, found the back of the net eventually. And that made it 3-1, and you're thinking, Southampton, you know, they gave it a good go today. They did the best they could, you know, the tough circumstances, but they put a fight up, to be fair to them. They managed to get back into the game after going the goal down. But the substitutions that Sellers made, bringing on the likes of Kamaldeen Sulemana, who else did he bring on? He brought on Alcaraz as well. And they made a difference when they came on. Sulemana in particular was causing Tottenham a lot of problems on the left wing, well, sort of left forward role rather than a winger. You know, just making sure that Tottenham were they were backing into their own half, which Tottenham aren't too bad when in that position, but they were also struggling to get counter-attacks going because of the fact that Heung-Min Son and Kulusevski were having to get back and all. So they when they did get counter-attacks, they were having to start from very deep, and they only really had one really good chance to score a goal from a counter-attack in the second half. So yeah, it was brilliant from Southampton. They pulled one back through Theo Walcott. He was given a bit too much space, but Walcott had a superb game. I mean, I haven't seen loads of him over the past 2 or 3 years since he went back to Southampton, but it's obviously he's not going to be the player he was, because the one thing that he was absolutely world class at when he was a youngster was dribbling with the ball with like the most electrifying pace you can ever see in the Premier League. Obviously at the age of 34, with all of the injury problems that he's had in the past, well, pretty much throughout his career, to be honest, he's not going to be as quick as he was, but what he is he's a lot more intelligent, and in this game he showed that, and he put in a really good performance and got in some really good positions, got a goal, got an assist, and just, yeah, an all-round superb game. But Southampton, they kept putting the pressure on, they got the penalty right at the end, and I think it was a bit of a harsh one, to be honest. It wasn't a great challenge from I think it was Pacy who Conte subbed on as like a defensive substitution, and it was clumsy, but I'm not sure how much contact there was. It was quite hard to tell from the angles they were showing on the VAR replay. But Ward-Prowse took it. I mean, Ward-Prowse has taken 2 penalties this season and missed them both. He has a better record at free kicks, in all honesty, but coming up against a goalkeeper that used to play for Southampton with him in the same team for probably, I would imagine, a good, I don't know, 6-7 years at least, possibly. When Forster, well, Ward-Prowse has been there since like Southampton got promoted, but Forster joined in 2014, I want to say, from Celtic, and I don't know how long ago he actually left Southampton. It could have. Did he join Tottenham from Southampton? Because if he did, that's like he's had 8 years at Southampton, so you know they've trained together a lot. Ward-Prowse would have practiced penalties on Forster at some point, given that he is the penalty taker for Southampton, and you know he hammered it into the top corner, brilliant penalty. Didn't show any signs of, you know, lack of confidence from the spot, and in the end managed to get Southampton a well-deserved 3-3 draw. It was a really good game to watch, and yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it this afternoon. It was a superb game, and even though a point at the end of the day isn't going to be, you know, if Southampton keep drawing games, it's obviously not going to be enough. The fact that they managed to come, and I mean they weren't expecting to win this game anyway, so it's not like that's any negative at all. But if they can, you know, show the team spirit, show the fight that they did to come back from 2 goals down with 10 minutes to go, like they did in this game, then I mean they stand a decent chance of staying up. With how tight it is at the bottom this season, there's 8 teams still, probably 9 if you include Crystal Palace the way they're playing at the moment. So there's 9 teams who could potentially go down. If Southampton can, you know, win their home games, that's what you got to do throughout the season, isn't it? When you're in a relegation battle, win your home games, and anything else in away games is a bonus. Like the draw against Man United last weekend, they're still bottom of the table, but I think this will be a huge boost for them in the remaining 10 or so games this season. But for Tottenham, this is a huge loss. I've focused on Southampton quite a bit in this video, but this is a massive blow for them, being 2 goals up, 10 minutes to go against bottom of the table team Southampton, when they're fighting for top 4. Newcastle getting a last minute winner last night. This is not what Tottenham needed at all, and yeah, they had a real chance today to, you know, put a few past Southampton and basically become the hot favourites to get top 4, given that Newcastle only just managed to edge a win last night against Nottingham Forest. So it is a big missed opportunity for them, and also I think the injuries they've picked up in this game, that's definitely not going to help them in the coming weeks. So yeah, this is going to feel like a really disappointing result for Tottenham, given the circumstances. And you know, if Tottenham aren't careful, they are going to, you know, have missed a big opportunity under Antonio Conte, getting top, like finishing last season on such a high point. After, you know, getting top 4, there's an opportunity this season to go for a cup competition as well. They failed to do that, getting knocked out in the FA Cup by Sheffield United. So you know, this season could go very badly for Tottenham if they're not careful. Top 4 is just the one thing they've got to make sure they get, and the problem is the inconsistency. It's different from one game to the next. It's not like they go on runs of form. It's like you never know what you're going to get with Tottenham. That's the problem with them. So, you know, it was an amazing game to watch. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.